Hey guys, I'm Sydney.
And I'm Zach.
And you're watching the Midnight Jamboree.
And we're doing an unboxing.
Woo!
A complete unboxing.
Our first unboxing together.
Yeah.
If you've been around on our channel, you've seen Zach do a lot of Blu-ray unboxings, but this is one that we're both pretty excited about.
And it's a literal unboxing. We have a box, and we're gonna open the box.
So, for those of you that don't know, Zach and I are very big into vintage electronics, and especially vintage gaming.
Oh, yes.
So when Nintendo came out with the NES Classic, that was something that we jumped on hardcore.
Or tried to.
Attempted to.
Tried.
And eventually got one after a couple of months.
Yeah, the week after they said that it was being discontinued, I went to Walmart and faithfully, I found one. I was one of 3 people. They got 3 in. It was a joyous moment. And I'm still extremely happy to have that.
And I got to play the original Legends of Zelda on a 4K television. So that was tons of fun. So when Nintendo decided to announce another system that was coming out, we definitely jumped on that one as fast as we could.
Or tried to.
We attempted to do what we didn't do last time and place a pre-order multiple times.
Walmart.
But Walmart canceled our pre-orders multiple times. And then when it got to the point where everybody else was doing pre-orders, they sold out instantly. And unfortunately, we both work full-time 40-hour-week jobs and don't have the time to get on the internet and try and do a pre-order when everybody else does.
Yep. I've missed it so many times since then, and Walmart got some restocks this past weekend. And we went to the store trying to get one, but no! Oh, we don't have any. Oh, we got 5. No, you got 12.
You got 12, sir.
Yeah.
Do not lie to me.
It's like the same thing in the 90s with Tickle Me Elmo. If you tried to call them, they were like, we don't have that. It's only the hottest Christmas toy of all time. Where's your holiday spirit?
Exactly.
And that's how I feel about this whole situation. But
like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
we found a way.
We always find a way.
Oh, life finds a way. But the way that we found wasn't American.
No, because, why would you buy American when you can import?
From Amazon France. Oh my gosh. It's here.
It is.
It's lovely.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. I knew, obviously, when they came out with these, it's the same situation with the Famicom, where Japan had a different looking one. Everybody got the same NES except Japan, but for the Super Nintendo, America's the only one who got a weird looking one. Everybody else got this one that looks exactly like the Super Famicom in Japan.
When he says weird one, he means one that looks like the original American NES, or SNES, excuse me.
The weird one.
Which is purple and gray, and I like this one better, personally.
Yeah, it's different. Already you can see that the kind of remotes on there, the controllers rather, they have multicolored buttons. That's not obviously something that happened in America. And I didn't need to get the one from another country. I had to get it. It was required. I didn't need it, but I wanted it.
And obviously we were able to.
So glad to get it. Like I said, Amazon France, thank you so much. I'm glad I paid the money to get it. The shipping kind of sucked, so it obviously was more than $79.99, but it's a negligible amount different. I didn't feel like I was paying the $250 or anything like that on eBay.
Please, for the sake of everybody out there, please do not buy them from the scammers on eBay. There are so many people where I've seen them where they have pictures of like 10 and 12 of them, and those are the people that make me angry, because they're the ones that are going out and buying all the ones from people like us that are actually trying to legitimately get one for themselves. So please do not buy them on eBay. Please, import them. Try and get them on your own. Try and buy them from Nintendo as much as you can to prove to Nintendo that we want to keep seeing these systems. They recently announced that they are doing a Game Boy Classic.
They have a patent.
Is it like the N64 one where they have a patent
it's
now?
not an official announcement, but a lot of speculation is going into that's going to be the next one. I mean, people are saying, because they did copyright a similar design, I mean, you can't see it here, it's mainly used in the kind of American version, where it has kind of the stylized controller on the top. Mm-hmm. They did one of those for the N64, and they have a patent for that. It looks exactly the same. So I think they're really just trying to cover their bases. I can't guarantee that, but I do think Game Boy will probably be the next one.
And make sure that you're buying it from Nintendo. Make sure that you're proving to Nintendo that this is something that wants to come around. I mean, the fact that we actually got an SNES is in my opinion, quite surprising considering how many, or how few rather, of the NES that they made and how quickly they took it off the market.
Well, they straight up said for this one, it's going to be a bigger run. They are, after kind of the initial pre-orders, they announced they're continuing it into 2018. So there's more chances to get this. And next summer, they're bringing back the NES Classic, which is going to be crazy. I hope there's like some part of me that hopes it's like slightly different.
So you can just buy another one?
Well, not that. Just because I know this sucks, but I think it was a limited thing and it needed to be. Mm-hmm. And I want the next one to maybe like say V2 on it or something.
Mm-hmm. And have different games or...
Well, not even different games. Maybe like 1 or 2 different games. But do something to make it different so it's not just like these people who shelled out all this money. I'm not saying that they were right to do so, but they shelled out a ton of money to get one. And now they're kind of just like, well, crap, I didn't have to do that. Mm-hmm. So I feel it's a pro and con kind of thing. I get it. It's the double-edged sword. But I really just want to open this. Can we get into it?
Go ahead.
Let's do it. Obviously, you got to be careful because we're saving this box.
I know that you ordered this, 2 weeks ago? Maybe
About
a little bit longer?
that.
He's been waiting very patiently, which usually when he imports things, he is not very patient. But we've also had some bad luck with importing things from Amazon in the past couple months. Yeah, usually it's the UK that we have the issue with.
But I was kind of doing my perusing, saying SNES Classic. Who's got it? What's got it? Who's going on? And they said Amazon, Italy, France, and Germany had it in stock. And I was like refreshing. Missed out on Germany and Italy, but I was able to get a pre-order through Amazon France. So we have it. We're opening it.
I just want to see what games are in here. I don't know French. I see Zelda though.
You don't need to know French.
I know, I was trying to read down here.
That's too much to read.
It is too much to read.
But all of this My Nintendo Points code, that's pretty nifty. And obviously, a beautiful, beautiful guide on here in a lot of languages. And for those of you who don't know, I mean, I don't know if I should clarify this, but this will be in English because it is intended for UK, Germany, France, Italy, pretty much everywhere. I mean, Australia has their own one.
I mean, you can see it on the back where it shows that everything in multiple different languages, especially up at the top. There's German, there's French, there's Italian.
Pretty much everything. I mean, this has so many different languages, it's ridiculous because this is essentially meant for all of Europe.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, look at how many different languages are here, though. I mean, there's even Russian in there.
Yeah, like I said, it's meant for pretty much Europe, Asia, pretty much everywhere except Japan and Australia.
That's amazing.
First, we got the little bitty guy here.
These are so adorable. The first time I saw the
so
NES,
cute.
I was just like, it's so small.
It's adorable. But yeah, you kind of flip it for the power. It's got that reset button. The eject button obviously does nothing. But
I wish it did.
It's really cool. I mean,
it looks exactly like the SNES would have in the European version, and it's so cool to kind of see that they put this much effort and care into these things.
And it's beautiful.
And it's the same thing with the NES. It looked exactly like they took an NES, filled in the ports, and just shrunk it down. And it's adorable, and I really hope that they do an N64 version because that is my console. That was the console I grew up with. This was Zach's console.
Oh, yeah.
So he's super excited about this one. If they ever put out an N64 one, he's promised me day one we'll put in multiple pre-orders
as
so we can get one.
diligently as I possibly can. Because I really tried to get this one.
Oh, I know. We tried multiple times, and our pre-orders kept getting canceled, but we're not the only ones that had that issue.
Oh, no. Obviously the power cord and everything like that. And for this in particular, as far as I'm aware, due to kind of voltage and everything like that, the European version does not come with a plug specifically. So either you'll have to plug it into your television or you'll have to find a charger or something. I mean, everybody's got one pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, they can't really give you like a European plug and go,
here
you go.
Here you go. It's for everywhere, but whatever. But still cool to include that. Because you really don't need it. I mean, most televisions come with USB ports now anyway, so you just kind of use that.
I mean, ours does. That's what we have our Roku plugged into. So.
And then, of course, love that they include an HDMI cable.
So amazing.
Because a lot of times people don't. So that's cool. Oh, yes. That. Just.
See, personally, I like the multicolored buttons because
I do too. I'm
a button masher when it comes to certain games, and it's a lot easier for me to look at what button I'm hitting when it's a color instead of it being all monochrome.
Yeah, I get that. Which, that's just so nice, though.
I mean, I used to have that monochrome Xbox controller, which I loved, but it was always so hard to game on it because
you could barely read it.
I couldn't. And that's why I love my PlayStation controller.
That feels so real and so right. As someone, I did grow up with the Super Nintendo, obviously. Can you stop it? I grew up with the Super Nintendo, but I can't recall how crisp this feels, I guess. It's obviously brand new right out of the package. Just something with it just feels good.
I prefer this over the NES one. The NES one, I don't like it. It's too small. It's too weird. This, to me, feels like a more handheld version of the N64 controller, which is what I grew up with.
Well, that's why they did the dog bone controller
for
the
the
NES, because it's so much better. And I prefer the dog bone over the standard classic controller any day. And they should have made a dog bone that's intended for the classics, because that would be a great thing. I would buy a ton of those. No, I'd buy 2.
But no, this to me, like, just it feels so good because it's like the perfect size for my hands. Like, I have smaller hands. So that's why I always love the N64, because it has like those handles on there, and why I kind of gravitated towards the Xbox so much too. But
I feel that this is so much better than the N64, because obviously you don't have the kind of like the C button and all that junk. You don't have the Z. You don't have the whatever. So you don't have to invest in a glove that keeps that, so you don't die from it.
God, I thought I was the only one that did that.
No, everyone did that. I mean, you had to half the time for for Mario Party. That was one of the things you had to do.
Mario Party, Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah, but you had to do that. That's a thing. But for the Super Nintendo, it's easy. You got your L and your R, you got your X and your A, you got your Y and your B. Do you need anything else? And this it feels right.
And it's very lightweight.
It really is.
I mean, obviously, it's
brand new. So as you can see, I don't have the original Super Nintendo. I have the fancy pants newer model that looks more like that, but is kind of the updated version a little bit. And I think it's just great. It's fantastically built. I do prefer it to the other one because it's just so nice. It doesn't have all the kind of junk in there, and you can just pull out the cartridge. But
all I could think of when looking at these together was, "Hey, brother."
But see, this just doesn't feel as good.
No.
And also, it's a weird kind of distinction to make that, at least, I'm not sure if it's how it is for the American one, but it is for the European one, where the A and the B, they're very much raised, but the X and the Y are kind of indented a little bit. So it's different. I mean, you can obviously kind of see the differences. This will be closer to what the American one looks like, but this just, I don't know. It feels so much smoother. This one kind of feels, they have the same heft to them, I would say. Obviously, they're pretty much identical. But just, I don't know if it's because this is obviously old. It just feels sticky comparatively. Not the buttons or anything, but it just kind of the plastic on there. Because these, I don't think Nintendo was ever like, let's build something that'll last for the next 50 years. I mean, obviously, you look at the original NES, those don't last 50 years. You have to replace the pin almost like every single damn time if you don't have a top loader. So it's just, I don't know. It feels good in a way, and obviously it still feels right, but I'm so happy to have a classic. I mean, this was the one that I wanted, and I'm so pleased to have this. It's going to be just like the best thing in the world to play this. But, no, I'm happy. And I look forward to kind of plugging this in and playing a little bit here.
Well, speaking of playing, should we get into the nitty-gritty of exactly what is on this thing?
Obviously, there's some games on here a lot of people do care a lot about. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars is the main reason that I want this. I feel it's fantastic. I feel Kirby's Dream Course is stupid. I have no idea why that's on here. It is a stupid game. Kirby Superstar, that's a sweet game. That's cool. Obviously, you have Super Metroid, Castlevania 4, Donkey Kong Country, which is great. I really wish they had Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3 on here, but that's beside the point.
To the Past is on there? See, that's the reason why I really want an N64 one, because I want Majora's Mask and I want Ocarina of Time.
Did you know they'd put those on there? And at least Mario Party 2 would show up on there. Star Fox 64, Mario 64. But it's cool. You also get Earthbound, which is a pretty big deal because Earthbound is super expensive outside of it. Same with Super Mario RPG. I spent less on this than I would have to get those two games together. And I'm not the kind of person who's like, oh, well, I need a cartridge. I don't. I'm good with it being on here. Mario Kart's on here. Mega Man X, the first one, is on here. Obviously, you know, Final Fantasy 3 is on here. That's pretty cool. Yoshi's Island is on here, and that's a sweet game.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the biggest thing that's on here, they have Star Fox on here, and that's pretty cool because they've kind of been dragging their feet about releasing that for the Switch, as far as I'm aware, and for the Wii, because there was something with like the FX cartridge or whatever. But the big get for this, it's not as advertised on this as it is on the American version, is Star Fox 2. A game that never came out. Everyone's talked about it forever. There have been various ROMs, emulator, blah, 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 junk out there for it. But now it's been officially released, and it wasn't released at the time due to Star Fox 64, and kind of how they were a little bit afraid of the PlayStation and all the other advancements of other consoles. So they just kind of nixed it and released it for here. But it is insanely cool that they have it on this. You do have to, as far as I know, beat the first level of Star Fox to unlock that, but is that really that tough? Played through Star Fox 64 like a billion times. I could get through that game in an hour. But it's just so cool. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have it. And I don't know, I think it's one of those things that obviously you can't recreate nostalgia in the same way. I mean, I'm never going to be 6 years old and playing this. But I am super happy to have this.
Yeah.
And I am beyond thrilled that I didn't have to pay hundreds of dollars for this. Just $100 for this. So I think that'll probably about do it. There's nothing really else we can get into this. I mean,
We just want to go plug it in.
I just
and
want to
play
play it.
All right. Well, until next time, guys. I'm Sydney,
And I'm Zach.
and you've been watching the Midnight Jamboree.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
everybody.